I couldn't hide my drinking from her anymore. Have I ever been able to? But she didn't need to know all my secrets. Lying on an emergency room gurney, my primary concern wasn't who or what got me there. Well, I knew what got me there. The overdose of sleeping pills I'd taken the day before in my own bed. A cliché, straight out of Valley of the Dolls. The prescription on the pill bottle read, "Take as needed." I followed directions. All of that I could figure out later. I was worried more about what Mama Jean, my greatest champion and harshest critic, would say. I was still in denial. Jesus, I was barely conscious. But I was about to face the two most important relationships of my life, booze and Mama Jean. I could never predict what was going to come out of her mouth. Had I been able to read her mind, I would have known, because whatever thought went through her mind was the next thing she said. Mama Jean could have had a great career in silent pictures. Anyone peering through a window into our house would instantly have known what she was feeling by watching her histrionic gestures, which were as broad and iconic as those of her favorite soap opera stars. With her raven mane, which was always done to a tease, and her Rubenesque figure, her looks were reminiscent of Elizabeth Taylor's. She had the split personality of Auntie Mame and Mama Rose. She was every inch the star, self-made, image-obsessed, demanding with the patience of a firecracker, makeup camera-ready, and almost always in close-up. Like the quintessential Leo she was, her roar could be loud and fierce. I thought of one of her iconic close-up moments with 19-year-old me. It was the summer of 1987, after my freshman year in college. She and I were at a turning point. For me, that first year away at college had been a liberating breather from her all-consuming love, a love that had always cloaked me like a cashmere blanket in August. For her, that year was a year of mourning. Mourning over my deserting the nest, mourning over the loss of her idealized notion of me as her perfect child, and mourning over my newly declared homosexuality. After that first year of splashing joyously in the waters of boys, booze, and drugs with impunity, it was culture shock being back under her roof. To her, anyone who liked more than 2 drinks was a lush. Drugs were criminal. And sex? I can see her reflection in the makeup mirror dispensing her 2 warnings with a flick of her mascara wand. "A moment's pleasure isn't worth a lifetime of regret," and "a stiff dick knows no conscience." I did manage to circumvent her warnings that summer and find a bit of glamour and excitement in the form of a ballet dancer I met at the Copa. Not the Copacabana. This Copa was Beaumont's premier gay bar, with delusions of New York glamour, located on a desolate corner in the downtown which had been gasping for air since the mall smothered it in the 70s. The dancer taught at Dolly Pepperdine's School of Dance, or Miss Dolly's, as everyone called it. He'd take me there late at night to show me moves at the bar Miss Dolly never dreamed of teaching. In the mirror, I could see we were being watched. The girls I had grown up with, in their little girl pigtails and pink leotards, gazed at us from photos on the wall. Some even seemed to giggle. The first couple of times I went out with the dancer, I lied and told Mama Jean I was going out with this or that high school friend. Before the 3rd date, assignation really, I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm in college. She knows I'm gay. I'm 19. I'm an adult. Honestly, what's the big deal? I marched into the den where Mama Jean was supine on the peach velvet sofa in her maroon and pink velour zip-up caftan and gold slippers. This early evening she was watching As the World Turns, her story. It had been taped earlier in the day on the VCR, programmed by me, while she was at work. I genuflected at the corner of the mirrored coffee table by her head. Mom?" I said, my adult bravado starting to waver. "Mm-hmm," she muttered, all but ignoring me as she stared at the TV and sipped a Diet Coke from a plastic jewel-tone cup, part of a set originally meant for the pool. She hated to be disturbed while she caught up in her stories. "You know, I'm not going out with Nicole like I told you earlier." She was never a fan of Nicole, my best friend since high school. She thought Nicole was pushy and demanded too much of my time. Plus, she didn't wear enough makeup. I thought ditching Nicole as my evening date pointed us in a positive direction. "Well, who are you going out with?" Her eyes were still fixed on the TV. The familiar queasy knot in my stomach, LBD, as in lower bowel distress, hit, as it always did whenever I had something to tell her that I knew she wouldn't like. Carlos." Her head spun at a 45-degree angle to face me. "Who is Carlos?" "Carlos Navarro? Carlos Fitzpatrick de Navarro?" That was the dancer's name. She put down the Diet Coke and paused her story. Lisa, the reigning diva from As the World Turns, was frozen mid-gasp. I had Mama Jean's full attention.